What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Ever Adaptive Podcast. I'm your host, Becky Flowers, along with my co-host here, Sarah Budson.
What's up, guys?
What's up? I almost forgot what I was saying for a minute.
I see that.
It's the day. I was telling you, I was
Becky,
like,
Becky's had too much caffeine today,
I've
plus
had way too much
plus
caffeine,
work fires.
so many work fires, and now we're here. And I know you're just coming off a full day of work and lab reviews, so you're brain dead.
So I'm
So
like, make me stop actually using my brain and let's just actually talk about things of substance.
I'm for it. We're going to talk about feelings today. My dogs.
Oh, well, as you say that, Toby meows.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Come on.
I can promise it's probably not going to be as unhinged as last episode, but I was able to edit out a lot of that unhingedness. So I don't think it was that bad, but
Came together, okay.
it was fine. All right. Well, guys, today we wanted to talk about something that Sarah actually had posted a reel on her stories. I saw it and I literally started crying because it hit home so hard. So it was talking about your front row people.
Yeah, and the way she put it was just like best friends, but you would consider it like your front row, right? Like
Yeah, who's there?
they're through it all.
And I
Highs,
loved,
means Toby.
is he on the microphone?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway,
All right.
sorry.
Well, I didn't mean
Maybe
to
it
interrupt
will
you,
be
but
as unhinged.
it's fine. This is our life. Um, but no, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the big thing that I loved about it was it did hit on the highs and the lows. Like it's not just who's there for you when you are hitting your lows, because that's important too, but who's there for you when you're at your highest highs and who can celebrate with you as well. Um, and it's not many people, as we'll dive into.
Right. And not only that, but who is there for your highest of highs without being jealous or angry if you surpass someone or anything like that, right? Like who is
Yeah.
genuinely happy for you, even if that means that you are ahead of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think that those relationships are super important as well because knowing that that happiness for that person is actually coming from a good place, and
Hmm.
not oh well, yeah, I'm happy for you, but I'm still doing better than you sort of thing.
Yeah. No. I think it says a lot about you as that friend that can be happy for that person. Hang on one second, though. He is into something and I don't know what it is. Take two. Um, no, I think it's so important for you as that friend to be excited for those highs because I fully believe that if you are jealous of somebody that's in a high, you are telling the world that you don't want that. Like it just is subconsciously you're going to block that good coming to you. And that sounds really woo woo, but I believe it's true. Like you are going to put roadblocks up in your brain for you not to get what you actually want if you're going to be jealous of your friends that are doing really well, even if they're ahead of you.
I agree. Yeah, it's that energy out versus what you're getting back in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes right in line with that. But who's there to cheer you on, who's there to, even when you are at your high highs, still not allow you to be complacent, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
still more growth in those highs and it doesn't top out anywhere. Who's going to be in your front row to help cheer you on in that regard too?
That is so good. Who's going to push you even when you feel like you've reached your max and you're like at this high? They're like, okay, but one better.
And
I
that
love
reminds
that.
me that reminds me of, I'm going to reference an episode that we did at one point when we were reading Winning, and you had said, it's not just like a hype crew of like, they're like, oh, you did great and you deserve that, right? Or anything like that. And allows you to be in that place of complacency, because I mean, like, yeah, it's totally cool to absorb it and, enjoy what you've earned or you've worked hard for, but it doesn't stop there. Your goalposts should continue moving, and you should have people that are supporting you in that and helping push you in that same direction.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I feel like just bringing up winning, isn't there a part in the book where they're like winning? I don't know, I'm gonna butcher it. Something about winning, pretty much winning is merciless, like it doesn't stay. So it you just want people around you that are going to push you because
Yeah, it's
you're
not a
going to
constant,
lose.
it's not a place that you like arrive and like that's it, right? Like that
Hmm.
you only have it for a second before you have to continue working towards the next thing that you're trying to win. I know exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that part.
Yeah, he had a really good analogy with it and I cannot remember, but
Yeah, it's
yeah.
very fleeting.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a fickle bitch is what I want to keep saying, but I know that that's not
It's a
it.
great way to put it though.
So you want those people that are going to push you. And I kind of feel like if you have people in your life that are jealous of your highs, even if they don't even express that to you and they say that they're really happy, they're not going to continue to push you because they can't see past themselves to push you farther. They almost don't want you to keep going because then it's more work for them to keep going too.
Mhm. Yeah. And I also want to like branch this off to like the hype squad, like the hype, people that are constantly like giving out this hype, especially in the bodybuilding world, right? Like during prep or when someone's, show day or after or whatever, like all of this hype up, during these certain seasons of people's lives, but like where were you in the lows and the in-betweens?
Mm-hmm.
Are you actually in the front row through all of it, or just on the glamorous days?
Yup. Yup. Where were you? Yeah, I've had so many people tell me, I just love this show day. I love seeing your glamour. And I'm like, that's great. But I'm literally like breaking down over here. So if you could just like send me a text every once a month, be like, hey, how are you? And we can actually have a genuine conversation. I would enjoy that more than you telling me you look great because great. What do you want me to do with that?
Where's the meaningful relationships? Where
Yes.
where are those ones that are fucking there through it all? The ones that are supporting you through it all when you are reclusing and they notice, who are the ones that notice when you go silent,
Mhm.
the ones that, maybe it's not an everyday conversation or even weekly, but who's checking in on you, who actually genuinely fucking cares. Because that's a huge, huge thing. And like it shows where intentions are, And yeah, we all have shit going on and whatever, we all have a
Yeah,
certain
we're all
capacity.
adults.
But for the ones that truly matter, right? Like you you think of them and it takes 15 seconds to be like, hey, just thinking about you, like hope all's well, anything, instead of only being there when like a life event happens or they reach out to you, right? It's who is feeding into you and reciprocating energy that it's simultaneous, it's
Yeah,
synonymous.
I think that's important. And I feel like it's important to say that if you're expecting that, like make sure that you're that person as well for other people.
Yes.
Because I know I've been really bad at that where I expected it, but didn't reciprocate it. Um,
100%. I've been there too, for sure.
yeah. Yeah. So we are not saying that we're perfect at this or saying that we have it all together, but I think it is important. And it really, when you hit those big life events, I think that it's very telling of who is in that front row. I know I've gone through many, many huge life events in the last 2 years. And while I do appreciate the people that come out of the woodwork when those bad things happen, it's who sticks around and who is there through the mundane days and the highs. And when it's a random Thursday, 3 months later, that's who I really notice.
Was constantly showing up.
Yeah.
That is, there's so many people that even for seasons, they'll say that they're going to be there for you or, call you family and shit hits the fan and maybe they don't know how to communicate about something. That's something too, right? People that are
Mhm.
in your front row, maybe you're going to have confrontations with them. How are they showing up in that? How are you showing up in that? Are you able to handle conflict on an even keel, emotionally mature level? Or are you flying off the handle, or are they flying off the handle and there's a miscommunication and someone doesn't know how to handle it and they acted like they were in your front row for X amount of time. And when it comes down to the foundation of it, they have their own agenda and it's very revealing in their actions.
Mhm.
And that's happened to me a lot of times in the last 2 years, more times than I can count. And it's once you make that realization and accept people for who they truly are when they show their true colors, trim that fucking fat.
Go into that because I know that you have had that happen quite a few times. And I feel like I have as well, but my emotional maturity is like just getting there. And I was the person where I would cut off people like that and not say a word. Um, so what do you do when that happens?
It was a really hard thing for me to learn because when I care about you, I care deeply. I love with everything in me for my people. I will go to the ends for my people. And if I am done wrong in any way or there is a misalignment, a lot of times, and I've learned this over the years to be able to obviously, like I said, not act out of emotion, not fly off the handle. Nothing good is going to come out of responding emotionally to something
Mm-hmm.
ever, ever. Take a step back and look at the big picture, sit with those emotions and process them and gather yourself before you respond or talk about it. If you need some time to cool off because it takes a while in certain situations to be able to be level-headed. Um, take your time
Take it.
and communicate that, I need some time to process this and take that step back and sit with those emotions and feel them and process them. And then figure out how you're going to respond, obviously trying to move it forward in a productive manner. And if that means that maybe they're out of your life, that's fine. But you also have to think about it, does this person actually have good intentions? Do they really want this for me? Um, there's a lot of deceiving people out there that put on a really great front. And if they don't get what they want or something doesn't go their way, and they don't have that emotional maturity to do just that, sit with their shit before they respond and try to have a level-headed conversation and they fly off the handle, you can sit there and be like, Like, I wish I had a hand mirror right now so you could see how you're acting.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, as long as I know throughout those situations that I confronted the problem in a level-headed manner and I tried moving it forward in a positive way, no matter what the outcome is, I'm good with it. As long as I know that like I can go to sleep at night knowing that I have genuine intentions, I'm trying to be a good person, I'm trying to move this forward in a positive manner, and maybe that positive manner does mean they're out of your life, that's okay. But as long as you know that you did what you could to be to just be genuine and not have an ulterior motive or try and be snaky or whatever the case may be. It's going to apply
Mhm.
to in so many different areas. As long as I know that I can sit with myself and be like, I'm happy with the way that I handled that, I'm good. you know I've lost a lot of people that were really close to me in the last year, and it's it's okay because not everyone is going to be there for a lifetime for you. I just
Yeah.
talked to my therapist about this on Wednesday. Um, and she said, and I think I've seen something like this online before, but it's like, relationships are like trees, right? People can either be like the roots or the branches or the leaves, right? The leaves, they fall off seasonally, right? Or there's the branches that are there a little bit longer term, but they're not part of the foundation. They're not part of the roots of you. And then there's those people that are, your roots. And I think it's really important to kind of signify those three different types of relationships. Like not everyone's going to be there for a lifetime, but every single relationship is going to teach you something, whether it's good or, not a bad, not going to teach you something bad, but you can learn something from every single
Right.
relationship, no matter how, what way that looks. You can take
Yeah.
something from every single type of situation. And sometimes that's temporary, sometimes that's longer term, and sometimes that's lifetime.
Yeah.
And as long as you know that you have those front row people that you can count on that are your roots, right? And maybe they just entered your life not that long ago, but there's those different connections that you have, and you can feel them. You can feel them, and sometimes they feel deceiving for,
Hmm.
some people, and they're really only there for a season. It's hard to gauge, but being able to be emotionally mature enough to know that there's a purpose in every single relationship for everyone. And as long as you know that you are putting good out and being that person that you would want in your front row, then that's what I want.
I think that was perfectly said. All of it. I agree with all of it. As long as you know that you are handling yourself in a way that you are proud of, that's the number one. Number two is realizing that there are going to be people that are there for a season. And I love that analogy of the tree. I haven't heard it. I've heard the leaves part, but the roots, I almost like the roots term better than your front row because that really is the foundation. And you want your foundation to be solid. You don't want roots that are, I don't know, gonna not be deep enough where they're not going to sustain you to grow. So I love that analogy.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I loved that
Yeah.
so much. When my therapist brought it, I was like, that's so dang good.
And that's why you're my therapist.
Right. And that is why I will never go without you. There was
Right?
like it was even a couple months ago, and she's like, man, like things are like starting to go really well for you, like you're not gonna need me soon. I was like, I'm always gonna pay you to talk to me.
Seriously. I feel like that this is totally off topic, but I feel like that is the biggest misconception with therapy that you need to have something going bad in your life to be in therapy. And I've realized like I just want to be there so that someone can have this third party introspection in my life and call me out on my shit that has nothing to do with me. Like they're not my friend, they're nothing, and set me right.
Yep. And that's exactly why I started therapy was because I was like, I mean, like things are good. Like, I don't have things I feel like I need to heal from or anything like that. But like, it just wouldn't hurt to have, an extra set of ears and eyes on things and just like be that other voice. And
Yeah.
that's truly like the most valuable thing for me. Cause like we talk about good things all the time and like, celebrate those things. And I think that those are just as important as working through the hard shit.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it goes right back to what we said in the beginning of this episode of like where things can go really good and then how can they push you even farther? Like they can see that extra little bit of, okay, you did really, really good with this, but now let's like feel this a little deeper. Let's dive into this. Let's clear this up because we're ignoring this.
Or
So,
even just looking at it from a different angle.
yeah,
Because that's something that like my therapist does a lot for me is like I think that I have it kind of covered from all angles and she'll hit me on like with something like from just a side angle and I'm just like, damn, I didn't think about it that way. And it's like I said, it's not always bad things, it's good things too. Or she'll like make these recognitions between, certain things that like correlate or, just certain things that are really, really cool that having that outside perspective it's so helpful.
it is. It is. I love it. Um, all right. So let's go back to front row or roots. What else can we dive into? I was looking at our notes because we had a lot. And this one, like I said, this one hit heavy. Um, just because I've had this experience very deeply recently. And it almost makes me want to be that introspective person of like, how can I be better? Because, like I said, I know that I have been the toxic friend in my 20s. I know that I have been the person that was in somebody's front row and I dipped the fuck out because I couldn't handle my own shit. Um, so going through it now, it's like, okay, now I understand what people have gone through, but how do I get better? How do I not do this in the future?
And I think that's really important. Just recently I made a realization of something. How can I be cryptic about this?
It's just so hard when it's like big life stuff. Like you,
Yeah,
we love you guys, but we don't want to put it all out.
something that happened while I was in my very removed phase 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Of like I was going through my self-discovery and I wasn't there for someone that I really should have been. And very literally yesterday, I made a realization on this. And it's something that I'm gonna bring up to this person and be like, hey, like I know I could have been better at this point, and I just want you to know that like I truly am sorry for dropping the ball at that point, just because, and yeah, it is important to prioritize yourself, but also those people that you should be in their front row when shit hits the fan for them, you also have to show up and
Yeah.
taking that self responsibility of when you do fuck up and when you do drop the ball or dip out, okay, well, maybe that is it can't be something that can be rectified at this point, but it's a learning lesson for whatever moving forward.
And I feel like you going back now and saying, like, hey, I know that I fucked up. It was 2 years ago. I know I was going through shit. I know you were going through shit, and I'm sorry. Even if it doesn't put back where you were 2 years ago, like, there's so much healing that can be on both ends of that, that then you can just move forward. Even if you're moving forward like this, you
Mhm.
can move forward as better people. So
Exactly.
I just want to say, like, I'm fucking proud of you for doing that and for realizing that. And I can't wait to get off of this and figure out who the hell you're talking about. I'm like sitting here like, she didn't tell me about this realization. The fuck?
We've been busy this week.
It's been,
Actually, it was 2 days ago that I made the realization. But no, but I think that there's so much of that it goes back to, even if it is, maybe it is too late, right? But making that realization and doing what you can on your end to clear your conscience
Yeah.
of like, okay, maybe I was too late, but now I'm doing what I can in that regard for that certain situation. And like, I'm good with myself on it now. Like clearing that like inner turmoil up is also very, very important.
It is, it very much is. And I feel like that's the takeaway that hopefully someone gets from this is if you're one looking at your front row and you're realizing that you have to clean it up, clean it up. But two, if you realize that you have been that person that has dropped the ball, because I believe that we all have, we've all done it at some point. Just if you haven't already, just making that right.
Yeah, it's a lot of personal responsibility and just taking extreme ownership of your actions and being okay with that. We're not always going to make the right decision or the right choice. And maybe it is going to take 2 years for you to make that fucking realization. But as long as you know that, like, it might be too late, but I'm still going to do what I can at this point. I'm still going to do my best because maybe that person deserves it, maybe they don't. But at that time, you should have been there. Just own your shit.
And I don't think that it even goes into like if they deserve it or not. It just goes down to like what's right or wrong for you. Like what
Right.
standard do you hold yourself to? And even if they
Yes.
are the shittiest person,
Yeah.
okay, then be
I
better.
I love that. What standard do you hold yourself to?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because of that alone is going to speak volumes of clearing up any inner turmoil.
exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wrapping this all up, um, it's really important to look and see who's in your front row. And I fully believe that these hard life things that we go through, I mean, it's been death, it's been craziness, it's been, a whole bunch of relationship stuff on my end. And it's just highlighted for me people that are there, even when it's uncomfortable, even when
Mhm.
maybe they don't know what to say. And I don't think that when we talk about the lows, we're looking for our front row to say anything. It's just them being there. That means more than anything. Um, so I feel like if you are somebody that is scared of your friends when they have like those low, like the big life shit, just reach out. Just
And
reach.
it's not even like you said, like it doesn't even have to be like a sympathetic thing,
Oh,
right?
please don't. Like, I
Yeah.
think it's worse when like your best friend is like sympathetic. Like, tell me to get off my ass and tell me to go do something.
Yeah. And but also like even in those low moments for other people, even like seeing something through it, like pointing out growth through the hard times. I think it's really important to highlight that and be able to turn it into something positive, even though it hurts like hell.
Yeah.
I Sometimes we just need to be in the energy of people that have genuine intentions that we know they're in our front row no matter what. And, you know, maybe it was something that we could have made a better decision on, or maybe it's something that we couldn't have done anything about at all. But knowing that we have those people, those roots there that are part of our foundation that keep us grounded and growing in the right direction, that's crucial.
100%. I loved how you said that highlighting something of growth in your friends because you probably know them the best and they can't see past the shitstorm that's in front of them. So if you see something of growth in them, just highlighting that for them and being like, hey, I know you're going through it, but like, this is what I see. And just leave it at that and let them digest that. It can
Mhm.
go such a long way.
And I know that, and I'll even bring this back to, some of the things that you've been through over the last year, 2 years, different voice memos that you send me, and I'll flip it on you, right? I'll flip
Mm-hmm.
it on you in some way, and you'll just be like, man, I needed that. Like it gives that other view angle of perspective that maybe they couldn't see because they're in this darkness or they're tunnel visioned in a certain way.
Yeah. It's so important. And it's so important for you to reach out to your people too, even when you don't want to. And it's not that you don't want to reach out to them. It's just that like when you are in that tunnel vision and that shitstorm, it's hard to even put the effort into sending a voice message. So
Yeah.
it's so important. And
It's a hard harmony between having the capacity, because we're all so short on capacity and we all have our own shit going on. But like, if you want those people that are still part of your roots and in your front row to be there, you also have to feed it. You also have to water those roots, right?
yeah, we're all about the analogies. I love it. Water the roots. It's so important. And even in the good times, even in the Monday times, you can still water those roots. Be like, hey, how are you doing?
Yep. It's very, very important. It's important to have people that you can lean on no matter what, whether
Mhm.
that's spoken or unspoken. In the times that we need someone, having those people there, it's pivotal, and they do help keep us moving along the right path.
Yes, 100%. All right. You got anything else? All right, me neither. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will talk to you next week.
I